Maybe it's just better if you stop trading. Now, why am I saying this? It's not due to the fact that you're not able to make a technical analysis. It's not due to the fact that you have not ever made profitable trades, or maybe even been profitable for a few weeks, or maybe even a few months. But it's mainly due to the fact that you still do not understand the basics of trading and that you still do not have a clear trading system. I think many of the people that eventually quit trading have been through stages in their trading career where they were actually profitable. But the thing is that they never had a clear trading system. Or maybe they even had a clear trading system, and later on in this video I will explain to you guys what my trading system actually contains of. Maybe they did have a clear trading system, but that system does not always work as it should, right? We are always depending on market circumstance. Right now, let's take for example the elections. The elections are fucking up the Forex price action a little bit. Not for everyone, but for some people that have a certain trading system, it is not as smooth as it usually is. And the same it has been for crypto, right? During the summer, crypto is always a low liquid environment, right? Whereas before the summer, the crypto price action was super volatile, high volume, and super smooth. And I had some insane months. The months during the summer were not as good for me as the months before. But am I doubting my trading system right now? Am I thinking of switching to a potentially different trading setup and trading system right now? Not ever. Have I been through stages where I have tested so many different setups, so many different systems, and eventually they did turn me profitable for a few weeks or maybe even months. Ever since they were not working for maybe a week or 2 weeks or a month, I started switching to new system once again. Yes, I have been there. But once I found a system that worked well for me a few months in a row, I simply decided that I would always stick to that system and simply try to improve where it was possible, because there's always things that you can improve upon. A point that I can still improve upon, for example, is to know when to trade and when not to trade. Obviously, I've already figured out that on weekends I don't trade. I've already figured out for myself that on weekly, daily, and monthly transition periods, and even yearly transition period, obviously, I do not trade. But I also recently figured out that simply the summer price action is not something that really suits my system. I already knew it before the summer, so I literally took 50% less trade than I did last year during the summer. But since I had some great months before that, and obviously also feeling the pressure of the community and people relying on me sharing trade setups, I still took, in my opinion, too many trades, which led to pretty bad results. During the month of April, I lost 4R. During the month of May, I gained 4R, so that equals out the loss of April, obviously. And then during the month of June, I also had a pretty shit month and I lost a few R. Does it mean that my system is not working well? No, it doesn't, because the months prior to that, I had some insane months. For example, during the month of March, I think I gained around 28.5 R in total, right? So I'm already reaching pretty close to my yearly profit goal. So am I stressing about my trading system working or not? No. Could I have saved myself from many losses, or at least a few losses during the summer months, if I just stuck to my bias and thesis that the summer months were going to be pretty low volume, pretty low volatile? Yes, I could have, right? So even I still now have so many points that I can still improve up. But would I ever doubt my trading system? No, I wouldn't, because I know that it works for me. And I'm not saying that I have the golden nugget over here, and I'm not saying that you should trade my trading system. I think there's many different trading systems out there that you can trade and that can turn you profitable. But the thing is that at the end of the day, so many trading systems are basically coming down to the exact same thing. And I think there's really two different ways of trading. There's either the way of trading trending price action, or there's the way of trading sideways price action. For me, it works well to trade sideways price action, because in my opinion, well, it's not necessarily opinion, it's actually a fact, the markets are ranging about 90 to 95% of the time, maybe even more. But for some people, it works best to simply trade with the trend, trade impulsive moves and that kind of stuff. And that works well for some people. I know people that are profitable by simply trading based on just EMAs alone. I do use EMAs as confluence for my trading system. Can I be profitable by just trading based on EMAs? I don't think so. But for some people, it works well. So it's up to you to figure out what works well for you, right? Everybody has different circumstances as well. Some people cannot sit behind a screen 24/7. Some people have a full-time job or part-time job. You have to figure out what works well for you, and it will take time. You can backtest, you can forward test, but it will take time. You will make endless amounts of mistakes. But in my opinion, you should stick to a trading system, improve where you possibly can, and bit by bit turn it into a profitable system. Even when you find this profitable trading system or a trading system that works well for you, it still won't turn you into a profitable trader if you don't understand the basics, which are discipline, discipline, patience, and risk management. And if you don't understand these three concepts, if you don't master these three concepts, you will still not be a profitable trader, even though that you can make a proper technical analysis, even though you can execute a proper trade, even though that you have a proper trading system. All right. And if you don't understand that, I think it's best if you simply stop trading. Simply quit trading, start finding something else. But if you constantly switch from trading system to trading system, thinking that that new trading system is going to turn you profitable, you will never ever make it. Yes, there might be a few systems that are slightly better than yours, but that's not going to make the difference. What is actually going to make the difference, in my opinion, is to find a system, tweak it where you can possibly tweak it to make it the best system possible for you. But first start with understanding the basics. And once you master these basics, you will be way ahead of 99.99% of the beginning and developing traders that are still not profitable yet. All right. So let's dive in a little bit into my trading system, what works well for me. A lot of you probably already know that I trade ranges, but I will explain to you guys how I trade ranges, how I find these ranges, and how I execute my favorite trading model on one of these ranges. So what we can see over here is a range based on a blank chart. Now, what I need for a range to be valid is that I need at least 3 different pivots. That means that I need either 2 pivots at the top and 1 pivot at the bottom, or I need it the other way around, and then I need 2 pivots at the bottom and 1 pivot at the top. Now, important is for the range, the price section is always respecting the mid-range level as support and resistance. Does it every single time needs to respect it once it tests the mid-range? No, it doesn't. But you do want to see some kind of respect of the mid-range level. So let's say we have a first pivot, a second pivot, and we push it to the range low, right? Then you always want to see some kind of respect of the mid-range. Then maybe it gets disrespected and then it gets respected again. That is always very important. Now, once you have found this range by finding the pivots and the respect of the mid-range, you start looking at potential deviations above the range high or deviations below the range low. We do not simply play the retest of the range high and these range low levels, but instead we wait for price to push above the range high, and instead of longing the breakout, which is what most beginning traders would do, right? Because price, if it breaks out above the range, is always turning bullish, right? And looking very bullish. But instead of trading the breakout and longing the breakout, what we do instead is wait for price to show signs of weakness by falling back into the range with a break of structure. If you don't understand yet what a break of structure and what a vetted liquidity sweep is, I have made countless of videos explaining this concept. But by falling back into the range and below the pivotal range high level, in confluence with a break of structure to the downside and a liquidity sweep at the top, we have ourselves a trigger to start looking for shorts in this case, or looking for longs in this case, targeting the range high liquidity pool. So you enter over here, you can use a market entry as long as your RR is at least 1.8 or 2, and you can target the range high liquidity. You have a super clean and clear invalidation below the low of the deviation. Like I said, you can either market enter or wait for the retest of the range low. First objective is the mid-range, where you will take 25% profit. Second objective is the range high, where you take another 50% profit. And then we always leave 25% as a moonback in case that the price indeed does start a potential trend towards the upside. And then we can ride it with a 25% moonback. So this way, we are trading both the range, which is happening about 95% of the time, and we can also potentially trade a potential trend that might be starting and a potential impulsive move that might be starting. All right. Now, this is one of the, I would say, I think I have about 9 different entry models, or maybe even 10. I think I have 9 different entry models, also all explained in my course. But if you watch my videos, if you watch my streams, eventually you will start understanding all of the entry models. This is the most basic one. This is the most simple one. Anyone can understand this. Anyone can master this. If I would only use this over 100 trades on a 4-hourly time frame, which is the time frame that I prefer, I know that I will make profit. But the issue is that many people cannot wait for this entry model to occur, because maybe it only occurs once a month on my favorite trading pairs, twice a month, right? And that's where the mistake is laying, is that people do not master patience. People do not master discipline. Or that when this setup does finally occur after waiting for weeks, instead of risking the usual amount, so 1 or 2%, maybe 3%, they start risking 10% because they think, now I have finally been so patient, the trigger is finally here, I'm not going to wait any longer, I'm going to execute this trade, and I want to make enough profit to set me out for a month. But the goal as a trader is not to make profit. And this might sound a little weird, but the goal as a trader is to find the best potential setups according to your trading system and execute them the way that you should.